Welcome everyone, and without further ado, here are the results of our comparison of three agent frameworks. Ease of use. What about CrewAI? A score of 4 out of 5 is given to this framework for the following reasons. Ease of learning AutoGen. The concepts of agents and their relationships, as well as the backstory and goal, are quite clearly visible in the configuration files. Although it requires some thought, it is relatively intuitive for a non-developer. Ease of use. Regarding the ease of use of AutoGen, I would rate it 3 out of 5. Indeed, while it remains a tool for developers, there are many examples, notably the React pattern, which is quite refined for developing a development tool. It is easily implemented to implement our stock analysis use case. Finally, LangGraph is the least user-friendly and easy-to-learn agent framework. It is clearly a developer-oriented framework. Additionally, the confusion between LangGraph and LangChain makes things even more complex to grasp. Although there are many examples available, I found it difficult to quickly translate them into our use case. However, once the concept is understood, it is indeed a very usable framework. I would rate the performance of CrewAI with 2 stars out of 5 only. Why such a harsh rating? First of all, when we fail to provide tools to carry out our agent's tasks, such as retrieving financial information about the stock we want to analyze, the LLM starts hallucinating completely. CrewAI does not allow, like the other frameworks, to write code to securely fetch this information. This is a significant limitation. Furthermore, there is no secure code execution environment under Docker, for example, as with the other frameworks. AutoGen, regarding performance, is the best of the 3 frameworks. Why? These 3 frameworks allowed us to execute our use case using predefined tools that can run code or read files. However, unlike the other 2 tools, if I provide no tools to AutoGen, it will generate code itself to retrieve data from Yahoo Finance or other financial sources for a stock, or read the file containing Warren Buffett's principles. It also allows executing this code in a secure Docker environment if desired. Finally, I would give LangGraph 3 out of 5 stars in terms of performance. Even though it offers more flexibility than CrewAI for reliably executing tasks, it still isn't as performant as AutoGen when handling tasks without tools, at least not automatically. Moreover, executing code in a secure container is not supported by default. CrewAI's production capabilities are very limited, which explains its harsh score of 1 star out of 5. Why is that? First of all, there is no documented path to secure CrewAI. Although it is easy to start with this framework and prototype, the path to production does not seem easy. While I'm not saying it's impossible, it's clearly not its strong suit here. AutoGen production capabilities are significantly better than those of CrewAI. First, it is possible to export workflows as JSON and execute them using a simple AutoGen Python library. It is also possible to publish a REST endpoint with our workflow and easily call it from a REST client. These 2 capabilities clearly distinguish AutoGen from CrewAI, giving it a production score of 3 out of 5. Finally, we have LangGraph. I rated its production capabilities 4 out of 5 for several reasons. First of all, it's clear that CrewAI have production capabilities of 3 out of 5. There are several ways to deploy our graph and graph into production. We can deploy it locally for testing AutoGen, either in a local container or by running it locally without a container. We can also deploy it in a cloud container. Finally, we have the SaaS option, which is the simplest but may not be the most suitable for all use cases. In any case, we have a wide range of deployment options for the graph, which allows it to score quite well on this front. The UI or graphical interface is the major weakness of CrewAI. Indeed, there is no known graphical interface for CrewAI, at least not one that has community support. There are some very limited open-source projects, but that is about the extent of CrewAI's capabilities in this regard, which certainly limits its use, especially in design mode. On the other hand, AutoGen offers AutoGen Studio as a graphical interface. While this interface seems to have stopped evolving and is quite buggy, it is nonetheless much better than nothing for designing our workflows. Furthermore, considering that Microsoft is behind one of AutoGen forks, and that a UI is prioritized on the roadmap of one of its forks, it is likely that we will inherit a substantial UI for AutoGen. However, once again, the fork has brought many uncertainties regarding AutoGen future direction. Still, it is highly probable that we will also have a graphical UI for using AutoGen or one of its derivatives in the Azure cloud. The UI of LangGraph is rated 2 stars out of 5. Although there is no UI for designing graphs and agents, there is still a UI that allows us to debug and visualize our workflow. This is why I issued a slightly higher rating than that of CrewAI without reaching AutoGen level, as AutoGen allows us to edit and create workflows, unlike the other 2 frameworks. In terms of features, I would say AutoGen and LangGraph are fairly similar. LangGraph has some advantages compared to AutoGen, while AutoGen has other advantages over LangGraph. For example, AutoGen provides a secure Docker sandbox to safely execute code. Additionally, AutoGen has an automatic code agent when no tools are available to perform a task. While it is possible to do the same in LangGraph by executing code, it will need to be explicit. This will not happen by default, and there will be no sandbox. Conversely, LangGraph offers very low-level control, and we have a code object that can manage the state between the different nodes or agents or steps of our workflow, which allows us to do things we couldn't do with AutoGen. Regarding features, CrewAI, being a higher-level framework, is somewhat less equipped, and there is no automatic code execution, though it is possible to do so. There is no sandbox, and we have less control since we are working at a much higher level in terms of workflows. To be clearer, the future potential is to do simpler things. It is the framework's ability to endure the test of time, knowing that the realm of agent frameworks is very dynamic, and we don't yet know the winners. This is a stylistic exercise and represents my personal opinion. For CrewAI, I would give it 2 stars out of 5, as it is still a startup that has made significant funds, which allows some potential for development. I will not go beyond that, as there are many serious competitors, and it is by no means certain that all will survive. As for AutoGen, I gave it 3 stars out of 5. Why so little, knowing that there is a Microsoft developer behind it, and a part of Microsoft's power as well? Simply because there has been significant forking at the open-source level, creating uncertainty, and I would say it casts a significant shadow over the project. Nevertheless, I emphasize the score of 3 or less since there is a major cloud player involved, which, in my opinion, is a real guarantee of future. Finally, LangGraph. Why 4 stars out of 5? I considered this for a long time. First, LangChain, the framework behind LangGraph, is currently the de facto framework for LLM management, and I would say LangGraph, being an extension of LangChain, gives it a natural advantage for now. However, it is by no means certain that LangGraph will emerge victorious due to its complexity, which could be addressed with good tool in AutoGen, but also due to the lack of support from major cloud players such as Microsoft, Google, or Amazon. I decided to separate monitoring from production, although monitoring is an element of production, simply to illustrate the fact that each of these frameworks has complementary monitoring and debugging capabilities. Whether it be CrewAI, AutoGen, or LangGraph, each relies on a set of separate tools that can be easily integrated. Whether it be langsmith for LangGraph, or agentops for AutoGen, or CrewAI, These three frameworks are equipped with good monitoring capabilities, making them viable candidates for workflow agent development. It's time for the verdict. If we simply look at the number of stars awarded to each framework, we would tend to say that AutoGen, with 23 stars, is the winning framework of this comparison. I would say it is my preferred framework for quickly creating workflows with significant accuracy. With 20 stars, LangGraph follows AutoGen, and indeed, it is a framework full of quality. To summarize its qualities, production deployment is possible via several options, whether through a Docker container or SaaS. Local development is also very easy. The high degree of customization, considering it's a very low-level framework, allows for considerable control over what is executed. However, within the limitations of this framework's capabilities, its ease of use is indeed lagging behind the other two, which means that it represents a significant investment to master this framework, at least initially. With only 15 stars, CrewAI lands in the last position in this comparison. However, they do have certain advantages over the other two frameworks in terms of ease of use and prototyping capabilities. In my opinion, it is the framework that is easiest to grasp. Nonetheless, its current capabilities are very limited in terms of confidently going into production. So, is the result that straightforward? Should one choose AutoGen without question? Well, I would say the answer to that question depends on what you want to do. If you're in a prototyping phase with a team that has fewer developer profiles, it is certain that CrewAI will be very suitable for rapid prototype in AutoGen. If you have a team of seasoned developers, hardcore, I would say, ready to invest in LangGraph and LangChain, it is clear that with its advanced production capabilities and workflow control, LangGraph would be the most ideal choice. In between these two frameworks, I would say AutoGen is the one that allows, effectively and with minimal effort, to have an agent framework that could be deployed in production. As you can see, depending on our profile, the answer to the question, which is the winner of this comparison, varies. And this is really the lesson of this comparison. This comparison of agent frameworks is nearing its end. I would say there is no clear winner. It depends on the use cases. One should also keep an eye out, as there are other frameworks that are somewhat less popular, but very much present. For example, there is a framework from OpenAI, Swarm, which is at the evaluation stage. There are also agent frameworks from major cloud providers like Amazon, Azure, and Google, and they will undoubtedly have their share of adoption. If you wish to go further, do not hesitate to check out each of the 3 videos on the 3 compared frameworks. Take care, and see you soon on this channel.